out. Just listen to the arpeggio guitars. Isn't that nice? Our band in a box. Hello, how you doing? Welcome. My name's John Skippy Lehmkuhl, a nickname given to me 33 years ago. I was at a sales meeting in New York showing a little tiny product at a Korg sales meeting. And one of the other product specialists said, you know, when you get in front of people, you don't act like John, you act like a Skippy. And my other sound designer, product specialist at the time, friends around me went, oh, Skippy, and they called me that all the time. So I gave in, and now I'm Skippy. So anyway, welcome to the live stream. My name's John Lehmkuhl. Like I said, this is kind of a chill, laid back live stream. We're going to do some tech things. I don't know if you've seen some of the steps in making these libraries, and I thought I'd bring you guys along on part of the process. It's kind of interesting, and maybe you like it. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I've had a couple people email me. I did have a colonoscopy on Thursday, or was it Wednesday? I can't, they give you these drugs and you don't remember anything. So, no, the stream's not down. I'm fine. Health is fine. I just wanted to put a little bit more polish on this library. So it didn't come out on Friday, and I've just been, instead of like, I rattle the bell sometimes a lot when I have the libraries for birthdays and stuff. And so, yeah, no, I'm good. I've had my eyes checked. I've had a full physical. This is stuff I usually do in June, but since I moved to Idaho, it's taken a little while to get, find doctor and get an appointment and go see them. So I had a full physical. I had my eyes checked. I needed to do I had a colonoscopy 10 years ago when I was 50. I'm now 60. And, you gotta make sure you're in health and stuff like that. So, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I wanted to put a little bit more time into this library. I made this last night, so. I want to make more patches. This is a library that's really sample heavy. It's not going to be 300 patches or 200 patches or something. It's probably going to be closer to like 80 patches. I'm going to work this weekend really hard to get some more variations on guitars and all sorts of things. I also finalized the drums. I added, as you can hear, a ride cymbal. All sorts of stuff. So, like, here, check, ride cymbal is really nice. In fact, I think I still have it called Tambo. It's supposed to be ride cymbal pattern. I have a 4 sample round robin of ride with bell that I added to the drum kit. I also, for Danielle, will be happy to know that there is some drum kits that are general MIDI in their layout and design, so that tambourine's on F sharp, bell is here, edge right is here, crash, high toms. Normally it goes like high, mid, high, mid low, floor 1, floor 2 toms. I don't have 6 toms, so there's a snare off version and the snare on. So if you deal with general MIDI, you'll be happy. You have a nice kits in that way. There's also a version called All, which is just chromatically all the samples up the keyboard, so you can play which variations, snares, and stuff like that you want when you want. I'm going to make a few more moody kits. No squeaks. So you have that kind of stuff. There's these BPM drum grooves up here, which I'll make some more. Right? So there's drums from a drum kit that I bought just for you guys. I bought a drum kit and sampled it. Today we're going to be working on the round wound U-bass. It needs some note offs and some squeaks and stuff. Important is the key mapping. Yes. Your libraries. I don't know what that means, Da Vinci. I don't know what you're talking about with the libraries are protected. If you want to make your own version of any protected patch, all you have to do is go save as, give it a name like 2 at the end of the name, save as. Save, and now you've saved a new fresh version that you can update and change and modify and do all that kind of stuff with. I'm going to delete this patch because we don't need it, but that's how you can save any save patch if you want to make edits to a patch. So the heart of this library is guitars. So we got a really clean Strat. It's changing between 4 different sets of samples. And this version, the Dynamutes, is actually changing between 6 layers of samples. So from chicken scratches. It's got a little bit of just crispiness that cuts in the mix really nice. There's a number of other guitars. I sampled, I think, 5 or 6 different presets. There's this, which is the Fender with the it's got the Dream 65 pedal. I bought one of those so I could sample it. It's more moody. I think it's supposed to be maybe a Z patch. So we're gonna ought to update that really quick. And why are you? Oh, there's a reverb layer, right? Yeah. So it's not a Z patch. So let's put this back. I just got to fix this so it plays a little bit nicer. There's a moody Les Paul. And you hear how there's note offs and squeaks and so forth. We need to do that to this bass. So that's the plan. Oh, the Sans amp is wonderful. Here's the velocity switching version. So the idea, as you can see from the artwork, is it's moody. It's not necessarily trying to like nail. I did a really pretty accurate strat. So there is some accurate guitars as well as these more moody. It's that kind of vibe. That's what it's designed for. Any wah-wah pedal effects? I didn't do wah-wah. It's so hard to do that in samples. That's maybe something I can do more in the programming. Wait, there's a filter, MDA filter type, isn't there? Modulation. No. Yeah, that's something where you'll need to get like, you can call up the Strat and then run it through like some of the guitar effect, audio effects that you can get to do the wah type of effect, because it's a dynamic based on the velocity of the sound, the level of the sound. So a wah in a sample, unless you do a lot of samples at velocity levels, it doesn't sound good, because it's just wow, the same every time, even when you play soft to hard. And the cool thing with a wah is it's dynamic. It's like wow, type of thing. So I didn't sample that into the samples because it'd take a whole lot of memory to do that right, and I don't have the effects for that. So all the shoeglaze and all the cool types of grooves, like if we get to like Friends Forever. Kind of an acoustic electric combo. I don't know why I call this BPM. That's why I need a little more time. I'm just going through and checking everything out. I finished this one up so that it's. So you get a cool synth. So you got this kind of stuff. The trio's fun. This is a split word. And then I have drums on a latch. How did I do the drums? I might have messed up this. I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Yeah. I renamed the kit. It's now called the Cherry Kit. So overhead. This was the all overhead. It's called overhead because there's the overhead microphones. It's just the overhead type of a sound. Kit all there. There. So I'm going to make some more groove bass combo things that you can jam to and stuff like that. There's all sorts of different versions of... You know, it's this one has a 75 adjustment. Oh, good. Yeah. I don't. Were you guys hearing like a bad sound? The shimmer is coming because of Chow Matrix. Chow Matrix has a pitch, and I could actually bring up the feedback a little bit more if you wanted it to like sing even more, so that. And then it goes into water verb, which adds this nice, lovely chorusy reverb. So it's in the effects. It's not actual samples. I also have the a Mega Magic version of the Strat where it's in the samples. Hi, Red Band in Cologne. So this is one where there's a major magic layer. So you're playing reverb. And then you add that to the Strat. That's a cool chord. E flat with an F sharp. Yeah, that's juicy. So there's your chord for the day. An E flat, was it a 13? There's a 13. No, that's not a 13. That's, I don't know what that is. Too much math for my head today. But there's a whole different vibe when the reverb is in samples. You can play, get this nice lush following thing that goes away and doesn't get thick and like too. Chord number 2 for the day. So you go between. nice. But it's fun to play. I've hesitated to record sampled guitars before because electric guitars have a whole different. It's taken so many experiments to get these guitars. It's like over a year in the making to get these. And it's so funny. I see these libraries for Contact that people release, and I hear the demos that they do, and they don't sound like real guitars. And it's like $3.99, $2.99 for these libraries. I'm like, whoa. This will not cost $299, I promise. It could, it should, but it won't. That's a nice, juicy chord. So there's a whole lot of fun stuff in the library. There's also synths. And I'm going to be making a whole bunch more synth patches based on these. For example, here's the pads. So just basically giving you the elements for the cigarettes after sex, the slow dive. There's a whole lot of different bands that do really cool, this vibe where there's just really cool synths, dark guitars. I could play that chord with this. That'd be a cool progression. Somewhere in there, from the E flat to C to B flat would be kind of, or A flat. So all sorts of stuff. And I let's see, where was it? I got the pad, the Moody organ. There'll be more Moody stuff. This is using Chow Matrix, the tape model. Tape model, sorry. And we should actually bring up the output, so it matches when it's off. Oh yes, yes, this would work very nicely with Beautifully Broken. It also works, I mean, it works really well with also Magic Motion for getting cool, like, you know, this is one of the synth things, but you take this and then you put like the motion bells with this and stuff, and it's really cool. And if you go over here and you add, like, let's open this up and go through like some of the pads. So yeah, it works with that really well. Yeah, so you can do all sorts of, I mean, the libraries, I mean, they all interject and work in such cool ways. I love, go to Mega Magic Harp and add maybe a BPM harp, like maybe one of these, not the phrases, but these JL, these, well, those are JL phrases, down, up. Where's some of the specialized ones that I made? Like, granular goo, that'd be fun. So add that. Yeah, putting real guitar over the top of this would be like, I wish I could play guitar, I'll tell you. To do today, I have a folder. I'm not going to call up the full session, but I did a session with the bass where I did note offs and squeaks, and I yeah, man. So we have two things. Oh, and I didn't name the samples right, did I? Oops. Oh, that's not good. Well, the G3s I named right. The D3s, the A2s get... Oh, you know what? These are probably A... Let me see something quick. So I have these squeaks. Let me make sure you guys can hear these. They're soft, but it should be coming through OBS. Let me go to OBS really quick. OBS, where are you? It's so funny how it sometimes doesn't come to the front when it's running. OBS, where are you? There you are. So make sure we hear these. Yep. So I have all these samples. Now, for some reason, I messed up a little bit here, so we're going to have to... I think these are E2 samples. Oh. No, there's E2 ones already. Oh, there are. Okay. Well, maybe I just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These aren't the same, though. So let's see. Where do we stop at with these? These are A2 went to 13. I don't want to bore you guys too much because this can become like watching somebody like pour water, you know. I mean, it's not fun. So I'm going to do like a mini version of this. Let's do this. I'm going to back up this. Let's just say duplicate this really quick. So I have the master. So whatever I do, if I need, I can get back to this bass if I really mess up. And I'm going to just simplify this a bit. I'm just going to give us like 4 note offs. Let's see. Hello. And get rid of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not even listening to these, which I don't recommend doing, of course. But just for the sake of us being live and you guys being along for this ride, just to give you the idea of how this works and what is kind of involved in making this, I think it's kind of fascinating. So I was like, you know, I've been doing these for like 5, 6 years. It's time to bring you guys along on some of the boring parts of building libraries, because it's not boring to me. If it's boring to you, I'm sorry. You can go watch somebody else just talk. But we're gonna, let's see, note A2, A, D, G. We got G3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got. Let's give myself a couple extra samples, just in case I don't have the squeaks that I want. So I got rid of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There. So I got 6 of each of the squeaks. Now, what I do is I have a sample editor that I use called Twisted Wave, which is a wonderful program. The dude that makes it, I'm able to talk to him. I've been putting stuff in his ear to add. I really want there to be an envelope when that shows up for modifying pitch, volume, any parameter of any effect, because this can load audio effects and like apply them to the samples and stuff like that. But it's a lot of work to do. But if he can do that, there used to be a program like 20 years ago I used called Peak. Bias Peak was just the most awesome sample editor because you had enveloping and you could envelope volume, pitch. I use it for sound design on drums all the time to do cool things. And I don't really know any sample editing programs currently that let you do that. So the first thing you need to do is you need to just clean the samples. Make sure that it works. There's a command key that you can use to zoom in and out the waveform so I can check to make sure that it's not doing anything in the bad places. I might keep a little bit of that. And then there's a fade out tool up here and a fade in tool right here, just to make sure it's clean. Sample edit, go to the next one. You can see where the samples start. It's $100 a year to use this program, and it's my favorite sample editor. He actually gave a script to me. I'm asking him to do a couple things because one thing I have to do is like editing like sample starts, where I need to look at 500 samples. And right now you can like zoom in a section and hit Z. And if you want, there's, I believe right here, somewhere around here, there's, you can set up key commands for any parameter. It will let you do your own key commands. Again, I don't want to bore you guys with all this stuff too much. But anyway, I just want to edit these really quick so that they are at least somewhat in the right range. Because I want some of these squeaks to have a little bit more like weird random stuff, because these are the things at the ends of notes that are just there, that players with fretted instruments do. It's just naturally what they just make these squeaks and stuff, right? So I'm going to just edit these really quick. Right? To make sure that they're playing in about the right place. There's 40 of them, so I'm doing this to 600 samples at once. So at least you're not along for that ride, right? But it's fun. I mean, sample editing is a skill in and of itself to be able to get everything cleaned up. And I have these very soft. You notice the volume-wise, they're really low. Some of these, like this one's a little bit too low, so I'll go to normalize. You can treat the levels of pan. If you have the samples and they're just a little bit, they will record a little bit off on left and right. You can treat channels independently. For things like this, I use like 18. Just a little bit more goose egging it just a little bit, right? So we edit the samples one at a time. And again, I'm going to do this more fast and slow because I don't want to like put everybody to sleep. Let's see here. Let's select all, normalize. Maybe we'll like cut all this out because I don't want to pitch, because there. Normalize. Now this one's going to be even lower, like maybe 21. There. Okay, so I'm just cleaning these up really quick. It becomes like a game of Tetris, you know? It's like, where's the sample start? Move, move, move. So sometimes when you do this for long periods of time, it becomes very video game-like because you want to do this. Let's see, we're probably halfway through. And that's where I want to start. Save. I don't even need to play these. I can see what's going on. Okay. Now, these are the note off samples. These are a little bit different. These are samples that play right when you take your hands off the key. And what I want to do with these is they're just for a little bit of pitch and then the click. And then we fade it in just a little bit at the beginning. a little bit more. And this is one of those things that I experiment with a lot. It's just those weird things that happen with your fingers when you're playing an instrument. So that's what this is kind of trying to emulate and simulate. And I have them for different ranges. There's G3. They're the 4 notes of the bass for E2, A2, D3, G3. So I have 4 of these for each note. And let's fade in. And all you want is that last bit, and put a little fade in the beginning. Just so you have the clicks and the weird. Actually, a little bit shorter. Then just a little bit fade in. So you edit these samples. And here you're playing the notes and you're like stopping them in different ways. You do it like 10 times to find where you get weird noises. Now notice this one here. Let me bring this up in volume so you can hear it first. Normalize to 0 so you can hear what it is. Hear how I'm clicking and stopping it. Let's bring it up just a little bit in volume. So I want just that last little bit right there, and then you put a little fade in at the beginning so you don't get a click. And you do this to each of the sets of strings, and then we're going to map this in the sample editor. Fade in. You just these sticky, weird noises that you do when you're playing these instruments. It's nice to take into account Spectrasonics on their instruments. They really emphasize that. It really makes them pop. I'm not quite one that wants to bring it out quite so. My friend Bob that does those libraries for their guitars is an incredible guitar player. And so I'm a little shy on my technique. There we go. We're almost there. Fade in. Shorter. There we go. Again, I'm doing this super fast, so fade in, save. Okay. Now, the next thing I need to do is if you're a sound designer and you do a lot with samples, one thing you will have to have is a naming tool to make your life easier, because the way samplers work, even in Contact, they have the ability to read samples based on this A2 information. What we use, that information needs to be at the end of the sample. And as you can see, when you spit out the samples from like Logic or something, it numbers them with the numbers at the end of the names. And I need to reverse this. So I go over here to Services to better find a rename. And I have some handy dandy little tools here that will help me out. And so I need to first, it's going to take me a minute to think this through. So we have to remove 2 samples from the end. So let's turn this option on and go to characters, remove, oh, it's not characters, text, remove text from the end. No, remove. Well, since I only have 4 samples, I can almost actually do this faster. If I don't have my tool set up, but I put a 1 at the beginning of each one of these, and then a 2. So I'm getting rid of the end, and I'm putting so what I do is I have my naming tools do this, but I don't have it set up, and it takes me a little minute or two. So let me just 1, 2, 1. Now what I do, since I have 4 different sets, that's what it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to do it this way because since I have 4 takes, what I want to do is I want to make 4 sets, because I want to make, and it's important to do it the right way. This is what I do. So I'm going to have to, you have to bear with me for a minute. Have to get my brain cells to going. So I want to remove the last two characters. And let's see. So remove text. Characters. Remove a number of characters from the end. I want to remove two characters. So that removes two characters. And then I use this. And where it says off, I'm going to say text. And they have this really obscene thing. It's called replace text, where I can say I want off to be renamed to off with A1 and a space, right? Let me see. Off. Oh, I need to remove, I think, 3 characters. And I don't need a space. So what this does is this now will make it so that, oh, it did get rid of the A3. So let's note off. Let's see. Note off A1, A3, 3. Oh, A1. Oh, I messed up. See, it takes a minute to get this right, and you have to do it right, or else you end up wrong. So I want it to be A1. You know what it is? I know what I did wrong. So this is supposed to be B2. This will be A, B, C, C3, and this has to be A3, and then A1, B, C, and then D. You'll see in a second why this is important. So A1, 2, 3, 4. So the thing that I did wrong is I'm supposed to go like this. I'm supposed to select the one of each one, E1, 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 and go over here and go better find a rename and remove the last 2 characters, not 3, and then remove the off. This is supposed to be A1s. So say perform rename, and this will group E, D, E, and all the samples of that certain key map, because there's going to be 4 round robins, right? So now I need to go to the A to the B2. So the number 2 samples, and I can go over here and go service better find a rename, and instead of A1, this is now the B2 samples. I got it right. Okay, so perform rename. That will group all these guys into B2, and it's not A flat. It's supposed to be A3. Get my naming right. A, D, E, G. Now we go to the 3s for each of these, and I did the first one, so I don't have to worry about that. And that goes to group C. So it's A, B, C, D. You do this for each round robin layer you want to make. A, B, C3. Perform rename, and then the 4s. 4, 4, 4. And then we have D, so D4. So better find a rename, D4. So once you have this set, it's just this last character change. So what happens, I now have the A, B, C, and D sets of note offs. Now, let's do it the right way. If I select the ones, because I have 6 of these, right? So 6 round robins. And for these are going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So better find a rename. It's removing the 2 characters, so it removes the notes and the numbering at the end of the samples. It gets tricky if you get past like number 9, right, of samples that you use. But now instead of note off, these are called slide effects. So where it says FX, I'm going to change FX to A1. So now the names look like this. Node slide effects A1, and then it puts the note pitch at the end and groups them. So now I take all the 2s, 2, 2, 2, 2. Better find or rename. You can see why this is helpful once you get it working right. So B2, so this is group B2, because each round robin is a group. So this helps you keep things 3, 3, 3, 3. Better find or rename. A, B, C3, C3. 4, 4, 4, 4. Better find or rename. And CD4. Now we do 5, 2, 3. Where's the other 5? Where are you at? Up here. Better find or rename. A, B, C, D, E5. E5. Rename. And then click. And then 6, 6, 6, and 6. So what I have done is I have taken these samples that were just numerically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've now put them into groups A, B, C, D, E, F, 6. Yes, I do use my fingers. So now these are ready to be mapped because I have all the takes that I want. So now we go over here to Bjorn's sample mapper. Thank goodness this all works. If you do use Bjorn's sample mapper, make sure you go to the preferences. Let's see, we got to get to here. Make sure you go to preferences and turn on the export plugin guru Unify format experimental. It works. So note side off effects. Now I can take all the A2 group, bring them over here, say remove from the root keys of the samples map, and it maps them. And then I can go over here to the set 2, the B2 set, B2, 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 and I can bring them over here, end of name, and then you click right here, import to new group. So it's importing to a new group on top of that other group. This is how you make round robins inside of Unify. And now we go C3, group, root from name, import to a new group. Now we do D4 group. So even if it's like 60 samples for a guitar, you can do a round robin set this way really quickly. You just have to have them grouped so that you can do it and, not go insane. So here's the E5 samples and import to new group. And then we get to the 6th. Here's our 6th round robin. So we've made a 6th round robin map, just like that. So we go save SFZ as, and let's call this bass. Let's see, let's check our names. Make sure that we get our names right. U bass. These are slide effects. RR, because it's round robins. Save. And now we can do the note offs. So we say over here, we go back to Bjorn's mapper, we say new SFC, because we're starting over. A1 group, end of key name. The first ones you don't have to say import to new group because it's just making the first group to establish for the first time. Now I go B2, end of key name, import to a new group. C3, import from key name, import to a new group, and then D. Select, import from key name, import to a group. So we made a 4 round robin of the note off effects. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say U bass instead of here. I'm going to say note off effects. And I don't want that capitalized. Save. So I've made my 2 maps. Oh, you know what? We can fix this, but these samples are currently on my Finder. They're not inside of the library yet. So that's the next step I should have done, is to move it. So let's do this. I'll show you how you can fix it. It's pretty easy to fix. So let's go to the Unify folder and to libraries, to Electric Dreams, to the samples. Electric Dreams, there's a samples folder that you build when you're doing this. Note off effects, we'll put this right here. And then we can go up to these two, slide and here, and we can look at these in our text editor, and you'll see that it has the default path, right? But let's open up one more next to this, like the rub finger round robin. And here's where the map is now, right? So we're going to copy this for the default map and then paste that for here. And actually, we'll just do this. We can say like this. And that, let's see, samples, U-base note effects, save. So copy that default path, and we want to paste that to here. Sometimes I'm building the maps just here in the sample editor, right? So you can see how it's grouped each of the sets on their own set. The way Unify works, when it sees samples on top of each other, it just randomly chooses between them. So I have now repointed them from my desktop folder to the Note Effects folder inside of the samples folder inside this library. So let's see if I did this right. If I go over here and I say init, and let's go over here, and let's call it Guru Sampler. And let's go over here to Electric Dreams, and we go to these Note Off effects. Yep. They're very soft. Let's see, turn on the low pass. Now, they're currently playing by pitch, which is what you want for the Note Off effects. When we go to the slide effects, we don't want these to be pitched. We'll set those to unpitched when we get there. So let's do this. I'll show you another cool trick that I do all the time when I'm building these libraries. Electric Dreams, round wound bass, right? I need to add the Note Off effects to this. I've done Note Off effects and the effects and all that kind of stuff inside of other patches. Like if I load this into a new Unify layer, inside of this Unify are the Note Off effects with guitar effects, right? So all I have to do is I can go over here and I can say, oh, let's see, make sure you guys can see this. So if I'm right here, if I go to the layer, the Note Off effects, and I say, copy this layer, and then I go to the top layer and I say paste from right here, it now pastes it into this layer. And let's say we want to have not only the Note Off effects, but the note effects, and we want to get the noise slides. So copy this layer, go up here and paste. Now I can go to this top layer with this Unify that those layers came from and delete it. So we'll say, where is it at? Delete the layer. And then we can go right here, and instead of the Fender guitar Note Off effects, we just go up here. This is Note Off, so we say Note Off effects. And the slides, we go over here and we say slide effects. And these are unpitched, so it's set the way it's supposed to be. And now I've got my slides. So now I can save it. Isn't that cool? And for the pick, we'll do the same thing. Let's go to the pick. We'll load into a new Unify layer the round wound. And then all I have to do is go over here and say copy. And then go up here and say paste. So anytime you have a layer that does something really, really cool in one patch, load it as a Unify layer. And then you can copy that layer from that Unify that's loaded into Unify. And then paste. And then go back to the round wound Unify layer and delete it. And now my pick bass also has Note Off effects. And option save. Now I don't know if I don't know, do you guys hear, is there Note Off effects? Tim, welcome to the party. We're having fun. I'm going to add the note off effects to see if they work here. So load into a Unify layer, open up this layer, copy the note off effects, paste, copy the note off slide effects, copy, paste. We'll see if this makes it sound more realistic. Delete. Yeah. And like the note off, you know, let's solo so you can hear it. And I have this set on trigger box to not be super all every time. But now it's every time, just so you can hear it. Hear what it's doing? I think I have something wrong with the sample map because those should be higher pitch, but I'll check that after the live stream. But having those just tucked in there just makes the bass a little bit more noisy, a little bit more, there's like human noises and stuff in it. So those are the, you don't realize that, but when you see these sample libraries, and you know, I use a decent number of samples, but nowhere near what some of the libraries use, where they've got, you know, every note sampled, 8 layers of velocities, and 16 round robins on every note. That is that's a massive amount of work to work with. But it's really fun doing these added things. I mean, without these, the bass just sounds like a keyboard. You add these, let's get them both going. Yes, so it's the same technique that I use to make the slides. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, I've done these when you go to Mega Magic Guitars 3 to the guitars here. They also have note off slides and so forth. If we go here, you know, the it's just that noisy stuff that guitar players do. If you take these 2 layers out, it sounds like a Korg workstation. Right? You add these. Just gives you that much more realism to the sounds. So I've done that to the guitars. We now have done it to the basses. So the basses have the ability to, now the rubber strings, they don't make any squeaky noises, but they do a note off kind of thing that might be kind of interesting. So if we go over here to the, let's copy this layer. The other way you can do this is just going between the patches, and you copy the layer from one patch, then go over here and say paste layer. That helps. Makes it a little bit more. Right? Okay, so we will include those in the rubber bass. Because the rubber bass, there's no there's no sliding finger sounds because it's rubber. They're these strings here. I've got them right here. Do I have them? Here's the use bass, by the way, and here's the strings. Let me get over to OBS. See these strings? You slide on them, they're very noisy. So all I'm doing is going. When I do this session for slides, this is what I do. I have it plugged in and I have it running into Logic to record an audio track, and I just go. You know? And then that's what ends up. And the note offs. There's different ways of stopping the note with just your upper hand or both, and you can slap it a little bit on the. Right? So that's what I did to do the samples. Now these rubber strings, these are the original strings that came on the U-Bass. They're rubber. Look at this. Let me get the big one out. Here's the biggest one. Check this out. It's not going to focus on that because it sees me. But there's no squeaks. There's no noise from it. So it doesn't make sense to make the squeaks, but there's still. It's nice to have just a little bit of note off on that. So let's save that. Copy this. Let's put it not on the harmonics, I don't think. Oh, one thing I want to do also is we need to put these harmonics. Copy this layer to the U-Bass. So paste, and then I don't think I have the knob set up. That's the other thing I'm doing this weekend. It's a lot of knob work. So let's do this. Let's say we want layer 1, MIDI enable, and we'll duplicate that. Actually, let's go like this because we want it minimum to max, and say duplicate this for the other two. So duplicate, duplicate, and invert it for the other layer. So that way when this controller is down, actually we're going to invert it. So we'll invert, invert, invert. So that when it's down, it's bass. Then when it's up, it's a harmonics. So you can. So we'll say this is note to harmonics. HARMO. And it's too long. There we go. Oh. Note. And I can spell, I promise. Harmonics. There. Save. So this way, this has. This is pitch LFO. And then we'll set up other real-time controllers. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ivar. Good to see you, Jurgen. What was the chord? Fun stuff. I'm going to work on those chords. I want to write a song with that. That's fun. Any questions? Is there anything you want to see of stuff that we've looked at? If not, I have something fun to show you. Here, let's see. Get this to hide. Let's go over and call up something interesting like a piano from the standard library. Put your questions if you have any, and then I'll pop We'll take care of them after I show you something. So Brian Clevenger, our dear friend that made Absinthe back in the day and created, what was this other synth that he's created that I love? Plasmonic, right? He has an audio effect plugin that he's been working on. Plasmonic is like just a whole other planet. It's so great. He has an incredibly cool audio effect coming out called Synesthesia. Let's see if I go right here. SYNE. Hey, did you guys notice that inside of the latest version of Logic, somebody pointed this out to me. Unify can't take credit for this, but it's nice that now when you go to the plugins, if you want, they have a search window at the very top. So if you're like looking through the effects, you can go up here and you could say Plasmonic, and it will list them just like that without you having to go into your list. We could do I could show you Logic, the latest update. Maybe some of you don't have that update. This is one of the nicer updates they've done in a while. Let's do this real quick. I'm going to show you Synesthesia in a second. He's just about to hit 1.0. It's been in beta for a very long time. And here is his website. And it's still at its pre-sale price of $79. And then it's going to jump up once it's out in 1.0 version. But he said summer 2024. And when you do plugin development, it always goes far longer than you expect and plan. But it's available for €79, $79, and it's a sound design playground. Like no other audio effect I can think of that does what this does, because Brian's using some really cool types of effects that are not very well known. So let's take our normal piano and bypass. Let's kill the reverb, so it's just the piano. Okay. And let's turn on Synesthesia. What it is a whole bunch of different really cool effects. There's echoes, diffuse delays, sympathetics, ladder filters, formants, distortion, flanger, and sideband effects. And you can turn these on and then put them into the chain using all sorts of LFOs and ADSRs and random and pulse triggers and all sorts of things. Basic echoes to start with, right? But when you get down here into the crazy, heavy drones. So something like this, you might want to like combine it so it's a wet, dry mix. And all sorts of really cool. As you can see, Unify can send MIDI. That's what the M is for in our audio effects. If you want, you can turn that off. And now it's no longer sending MIDI, so it freezes it at a parameter. But there's these new audio effects that are coming out from different companies, including this one, that can listen to MIDI and to do all sorts of really cool things based on the notes you're playing. So really fun. It's not another freaking chorus. It's not just a it's not a compressor. It's really cool. There's a piano. So if you bring this down a little bit and bring the dry up, so really, I mean, Brian is one that deep thinks these things. It's also cool that if you want, you can set your mix the way you want and hit the lock. So this way, now as I change patches, it will stay locked. That's great distortion. All sorts of different types. Right? Good stuff. So, if you want a really cool audio effect, it's about to hit 1.0. So, be on the lookout for that to show up soon. If you have it already, it's wonderful. It's good stuff. Yeah, it can do the Deviant Machine, but the place where it gets really interesting is all of the formant and not even the formants, but when you get to the sympathetic resonators and so forth, those are effects other things can't do. Yeah. You know, this kind of stuff. And then if you wanted, you could go over here and you could add a sympathetic at the end of this. I'm not taking full credit, but I was one of many that said, you got to add MIDI to the sympathetic, because let's see if we go over here to file, initialize. Let's have so we have the dried. Now it's just wet by itself. If we go over here and we say, give you the sympathetic. Originally it was like this. But by adding a keyboard MIDI, oh, Athena's barking. Now it's changing by MIDI. One second, I gotta see who's at my door. It might be my friend. One second. Who's here? Hi.
Sorry to bother you. I was wondering if you're feeling strong and got 10 minutes to help us with the panel. If you don't, that's okay.
I don't, because I'm in a live stream right now.
Oh, okay, no worries.
So I'll be done in a little bit.
No worries. Okay, yeah, I'll come back if you don't get it.
Okay.
It's just a matter of, I think we got enough, but I was just trying to make it a little easier. But if we need help, I'll come back.
Okay, well, I'll come over to the park afterwards.
Yeah, no worries at all. Thanks so much.
Okay, yeah, man.
Appreciate it. Sorry to
Yeah.
bother you.
You're good. You know, if Athena's barking like that, I know there's someone at the door. Yeah, so it's when you have effects like this, that's just one effect, and you have all these slots for multiple effects. I'm not even modulating it with anything or anything that kind of stuff, but then all these parameters can be changed in real time, and the presets that they've made. Like combine this as a mix. It's beautiful. It's like for years we were all saying, Brian, we need the audio effects that are part of Absinthe. And so this is kind of taking that, putting it on steroids and 10 years of training. And using the diffuse delays as reverb. Let's put this with the guitar. So let's do this. If we hold down Option and we hit Init, that will get rid of the first two layers, but it keeps the master effects. And I'm going to change this to be a Unify layer so I can open this up. And now I can go to any library. So I'm going to go to Electric Dreams. Let's get the clean strat and load it. And now... Now we can play with Synstia. Nice. With formants in it. Distortion at Perilous Nights. Distortion. That's the effect doing it. Cool. So this is definitely one of those audio effects that you can like spend years learning about how to use it and exploring different things. It can go so many different places, combining things. So if you want something for sound design that's unique, this is definitely a fun place to, as it's still ringing out. Love it. So I just want to make sure you were aware of that. Yes. 5,000 unique scales. Yeah. Daniela will love that, right? Let's see. Are there any questions? No guys here. Oh, no support guy. Oh, that's me. I'm the support guy. Here's Rhythmatic. Let me put a link copy. I think Taylor's here. He might not be here. Yeah. Maybe something happened. I haven't checked in with him today. But that is the link for Rhythmatic. Can you make a strumming pattern? Yes, I'll be making that's for this weekend, to make all sorts of MIDI files that are like arpeggiated patterns and stuff like that, you know. In fact, I was gonna try. Let's do this. Let's have fun for a minute, because we've got 5 minutes left, so we can go a little bit over. I didn't know what the name of your library was, Daniela. So that's cool. Let's go to Electric Dreams. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to use the Strat. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to need to load this as a Unify layer. So I'm going to hit init and then convert this to a Unify layer. Open it up, excuse me, and go to Electric Dreams, to the Strat, and load this into a Unify layer. Now, maybe for this one, I might not want it to be quite so deep with so many layers of things, because I'm going to be creating lots of layers. Let's just use the Fingersoft. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go to Arpeggiators, MIDI box. No, I don't want to use MIDI box. We're going to use, for this first, for today's example, let's use Blue Arp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to step type and set it to chord. So now whenever I play, right? Sounds terrible, but it will be good in a minute. So let's do this. First of all, let's find our rhythm. So we can set first to eighth notes. This is always a good safe place to start, is just turn off every other one. So it's now eighth notes. Go to velocity. Reverse, do each one. Let's turn that one on. So we go to step type. Go to gate time and make that really short. Let's make that one longer. Now, the fun is going over here to our creatives and putting a trigger box. Let's bring down the percentage to be slow. So it's just playing every now and then, right? Pan that to the left, duplicate, pan this one to the right, and they're each playing with random Now, to get to be where it sounds like a guitar player, let's put a little human timing in this. So let's go creative. We'll use jitterbox. Let's add a jitterbox here too. And let's add a pad to this, so it's got something nice to like glue it together. Maybe add a drum groove. Let's say sleep pop. See what that sounds like. Let's do this. Let's half time it. auxiliary effect. Let's go make a delay. Distortion. That's a little crazy, so let's do this. Kinda like it. Kinda like it. I think it's a little bit too much delay. That's what it is. It just kind of disorients you a little bit. Let's try this. More delay, but let's not let it hit all the frequencies. So let's use like a band pass maybe. Let's half time the bass drum here too. And then maybe on top of this, since there's so much stuff going left and right, let's put something else down the middle that will kind of like straighten it out. So let's go over here to the Sounds amp, load that, and then let's bring that up here with the guitars so it's not part of, let's see. Almost right. Let's see. See the vibe? This. The guitar's a little bit short. Did I get these set up with release? There's a little bit more release on the guitars. And then maybe on top of this, because we can have as many layers as we want, let's get Taylor playing his tremolo guitar with, let's go over here and say blue ARP. And let's just like click, 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 and see if we can find ourselves a fun little eighth. I saw eighth beat. Work on this more because it's got that's strumming plus. Let's see, maybe a different guitar. Let's go down here some of these moody guitars like Rainy Money. There we go. Yeah. So it's kind of fun. I still don't like the you know, I'm not a big fan of the drum panning left and right kind of thing, you know? Maybe make that more subtle. Let's put it through reverb. where I'm going with this, right? I was almost thinking taking these and removing like the body. Let's see if I can find the way to almost like a high pass filter it. Let's see if we bring in a high pass filter to this. Just so it's like the strumming part. Now let's do this. Let's bring this over here so it's not at the end of the chain and copy this. And let's put this into this other Unify on the other side. Paste. Just to get some strumming elements. Almost there. It's still got a little bit of funkiness to it, so I'll work on it. Yeah, that's kind of nice. So, what should we call it? I have the name. Sorry. Don't worry about adding a name. I'll give you a name. ZBPM Guitar Starchild. And I'll keep working in that direction. It's got a little bit more work to do. Ready for that chord? Fun stuff, fun stuff. Well, thank you for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed the hang. Yeah, it's not there yet, but I'll keep working on it. I got the idea of how to take it. All right, on that chord, we'll say shout out time. Go to the first. Blew up guitars are too much, too loud. And each left, right. Yeah, that stuff I'll check with speakers. Earphones. It's very different because they're right here. That's why I put high-pass filters on them too, Daniela, is to get them to be just like... Let's see. There we go. Yeah, it's just that delay was kind of bugging me, so let's just bring this... I go to Dragonfly, make sure I'm totally dry. Maybe a little delay. Electric Bunny Man, I like that. There. BPM. I got a lot of room to play with frequencies. So let's go over here. Turn this on. Let's say custom, and let's go to our rhythmics. I like to do the numbered things. Let's see, da da da. Have the filter EG get involved, so it's going to be bright and come down. Something like that. I'll keep playing with this. All right, so Star Child. All right. Well, thank you, all of you guys. Let's see. Do the shout outs where you guys are at. Scotland. Eric Guitars with. Oh, what's the price? I'm not sure what the price will be yet. You'll know on Monday. It won't be $2.99. I promise you that. Subtle. All right. On that note, thank you for watching and hanging out. And my dog's barking again. Great. I get to go help my neighbors on something. That's what my neighbors were at the door, so they need some help. Thank you. I hope this helped you guys see a little bit with the sample editing and so forth. It's kind of fun to do something different than just showing plugins and stuff like that. Different all the time, you know. Got to keep these live streams fresh, right? All right. We will see you next week. And have a great, productive, wonderful week, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.